Jessica Radcliffe wasn't someone who chased danger. She was a marine biologist, a perfectionist, the kind of person who believed that knowledge and routine could control even the most dangerous predator. And for years, it seemed like she was right. Every day, she stepped into a tank with a 12,000-pound killer whale named Mallow. They performed together, trusted each other, and even seemed to understand one another. Kids laughed, cameras clicked, and no one watching behind the glass ever thought anything could go wrong. But one afternoon, in front of a sold-out crowd, everything changed. There was no warning, no mistake, just a sudden snap, a swirl in the water, and then a silence so heavy it felt like the entire stadium stopped breathing. People were left asking, why did Mallow, the orca Jessica loved and trained, suddenly attack? Was it instinct, revenge, or something darker no one wanted to say out loud? Jessica trusted him completely. More than that, she loved him. Not as just an animal she worked with, but like a partner, like family. Mallow was the park star, the one who brought in thousands of visitors every week. For years, he performed flawlessly, until that day, in front of families, children, and countless cameras, when everything changed in seconds. A happy performance turned into a nightmare. Cheers turned to screams. The clear blue water turned red, and in an instant, a young woman's life was gone. This isn't just about Jessica's death. It's about the warnings people ignored, the choices they made, and the truth they tried to hide. Jessica grew up just outside Santa Cruz, California, with the Pacific Ocean right in her backyard. Her father, also a marine biologist, took her on boat trips, taught her how to read the tides, and showed her dolphins leaping through the waves. From the time she could walk, she was in love with the ocean. As a child, she attended a marine park show and saw an orca leap high out of the water. That moment changed her life. She knew she didn't just want to watch these animals. She wanted to be with them, train them, understand them. She studied marine biology in college and landed an internship at Ocean Haven Marine Park, a growing SeaWorld-style attraction south of Monterey. She started at the bottom cutting fish, scrubbing tanks, watching feedings. But it didn't take long for people to notice she had something special. The animals responded to her, especially Mallow. Mallow was huge, 22 feet long, 12,000 pounds, black and white, with a tall dorsal fin like a sail. He had been captured when he was young and trained for years to wave, splash, spin, and leap on cue. But he had a temper. Trainers said he was unpredictable. Some days he ignored commands. Other days he slapped his tail hard against the water when he was upset. But with Jessica, it was different. She was only 21, but she seemed to know his moods, his body language, even his favorite food. While others struggled to control him, she could calm him. Within a year, she was promoted to lead orca trainer. She called him her big boy and believed their bond could never break. But orcas aren't pets, they're predators. And no matter how close they seemed, their connection was still man-made. Over time, cracks began to show. Mallow started acting more aggressive during feedings. Once, he lunged at another trainer, forcing them to jump back. He ignored whistle cues and slammed into the tank walls so hard the sound echoed. Some trainers filed incident reports. Others asked for him to be pulled from live shows, but management refused. It was peak season, and Mallow was the park's biggest attraction. Jessica saw the changes too and even noted them in her logbook, but she still believed he would never hurt her. A week before the tragedy, she told a coworker, "He's just moody lately, but we're fine. He knows me." Wild instincts never truly go away. They wait, and sometimes they strike. It was the 6th of July, 2011. The sun was bright, The stadium was full, more than 2,000 guests, from families to tourists, all holding ice cream cones, cameras, and stuffed Orca toys. The announcer introduced Jessica and Mallow. She stepped onto the platform, smiling at the cheering crowd. Mallow surfaced beside her. The show began perfectly. He leaped, splashed, spun, hitting every cue. Then came the finale, their synchronized swim. Jessica dove in, waving at the audience as Mallow circled her, just like they'd done dozens of times before. But this time, Mallow stopped. In an instant, he lunged. His massive jaws clamped around her torso. She didn't even scream. He dragged her under with terrifying force. Gasps ripped through the crowd. Parents pulled their kids close. Mallow thrashed violently, dragging her deeper. The water turned red. Trainers rushed to help, tossing fish, ropes, buoys. One shouted commands through a pole. Nothing worked. Jessica was underwater for over a minute. When Mallow finally let go, she floated to the surface, motionless. Divers pulled her out. Her wetsuit was torn. Her ribs were crushed. She had drowned. She was pronounced dead right there on the pool deck. The park was evacuated within minutes. Some people screamed. Others just stood frozen in shock. Children cried. Ocean Haven called it a tragic accident. But the people who worked there knew the truth. There had been warnings, and they were ignored. Jessica's parents held a private memorial along the coast where she'd played as a child. They scattered her ashes into the Pacific. Her death sparked a national outcry. News crews surrounded the park. Animal rights groups protested. Former trainers came forward with stories of abuse, mistreatment, and ignored safety concerns. Within 6 months, Ocean Haven shut down. Lawsuits followed. Mallow was moved to a semi-wild sanctuary in the Pacific Northwest, where he lived out the rest of his life without trainers, shows, or screaming crowds. But the damage was done. Jessica believed love could bridge the gap between humans and wild animals. She thought trust was enough, but it wasn't. Wild animals aren't actors. They aren't entertainers. They aren't ours. Jessica was talented, brave, and passionate. She gave her heart to the ocean, but the ocean gives no guarantees. What happened to her wasn't just bad luck. It was the result of ignoring instincts, silencing warnings, and believing we could control nature. This isn't just the story of a trainer and her orca. It's a warning. When we cage the wild for our entertainment, one day, the wild will remind us exactly what it is. Rest in peace, Jessica. Your story will never be forgotten. If you love true stories like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss one. Don't forget to like this video, share it with friends, and let me know your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear from you.